Hello, 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 and good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Can we hear me? Good morning. Welcome to Hosts Now Activate. I'd like to get some responses to be sure that we can hear me. Abiodun, hi, can you hear me? Bolu, sorry, Bolu, hi. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you clearly. Good
Oh,
morning.
beautiful. Good morning to you. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. So nice to have you here. Good morning. And good morning to our attendees this beautiful Saturday morning. It's again another beautiful time at the HNN Activate, where we basically would come every month to share and discuss. I have conversations around different topics within technology. Most likely we focus on growth and innovation in the space. As it is, we usually would get guests from, the tech space to come share insights with us on specific topics. And today, we're looking at the blockchain and cryptocurrency. I know that majority of people nowadays are trying to get into blockchain. I mean, everybody's wondering what exactly they can do to take advantage of cryptocurrency as it is. And some of us really don't even know much about it yet. We just know that there's a buzz around, cryptocurrency. We've heard of the word blockchain before. Basically, today we're going to get some insights. We're going to share some knowledge. We're going to understand a bit more when we have our speakers share knowledge and shed light on what they understand about the topic and what's obtainable within the space. So let's look forward to a beautiful, beautiful time here. As we know it, we like to keep things under wraps, all up under 1 hour, 30 minutes. Right. And, we're supposed to have two keynote sessions. Bolu is going to take one session and then Enabeli is going to take another session. Right. And basically, immediately after both their sessions, we're going to have a panel session for 30 minutes. After the panel sessions, during the panel sessions, we take questions from the audience. So if you have questions while they are taking their keynote sessions, please do well to put down your questions. You can put it up in the chat feed, the question feed on Zoom. You can just write them down so that when it's time for panel session, you'd get your time to ask your questions. So please do well to do that. I would like your questions to be relatable. Let it be practical. Let it be something that relates to what you do on a day-to-day basis. So the speakers can speak to that as well. As soon as we're done with the panel session, we'll take a few feedbacks from people, and then it'll be goodbye till next month. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Bolu. Bolu is here with us from TechPoint. Bolu, it's so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for taking our time to be here. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to, be part of something as, to be part of this kind of initiative that tries to help, people understand technological concepts and how they can make the best of it. So thank you very much.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome work you guys are doing over at TechPoint. Kudos to the team, Muiwa, and the rest of the team. Just to put a little perspective, TechPoint is one of Africa's digital media company, arguably one of the biggest in the tech space. What they do is they amplify the best innovations out of Africa through their publications, data, and events. It was founded in 2015. It has grown to become one of the most notable brands across Africa's tech startup and business ecosystem. It has a growing dedicated audience of investors, startup developers, professionals, and African tech enthusiasts. TechPoint hosts a variety of events from seminars, conferences, all day, as well as including the very popular TechPoint Build, which happened a few weeks ago at Landmark Center, and it's the largest tech startup event in West and East Africa. So, TechPoint is doing a whole lot within the tech space, and Bolu here is joining us from TechPoint. So happy to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
All
thank you so
right, so
much, Emmanuel.
yeah. we're going to have one more speaker join us later. She's having some issues though. I hope she's able to join us eventually. Oluchi Enebeli. Oluchi is co-founder at Privatal. Privatal is a UX company user experience company that aims to simplify the design of blockchain for people who are interested, in using that. She's one of Nigeria's foremost blockchain engineers. She has a BSc in applied mathematics. She's worked across multiple fields, within the blockchain space. I work across engineering, products, UX analysis, and research. And I know she's focusing on Web3 space right now. She actually she founded a company called Web3 Ladies, also co-founded at the Privatal, as I mentioned. And they're empowering the next generation of blockchain industry female leaders who build, nurture, and develop a sustainable Web3 space in Africa and beyond. She had worked with Nextcoin, Binance, Bundle Africa, Sterling, before setting out to do her stuff at Privatal and Web3 Ladies. And it's so awesome to have her here as well, shedding light on the topic of cryptocurrency and blockchain. Hopefully she joins us and she's able to deal with the issues she has, and she joins us sometime during the conversation. But without further ado, I'd like us to just go straight in and then get a keynote from Bolu. After Bolu's keynotes, if Oluchi is here by then, we'll take our keynotes and then we'll go to the panel session. And if she's not, we'll just go straight to having conversations and taking the questions immediately after Bolu's keynote. Bolu, you got the floor.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Like I said before, I'm really honored to be a part of this webinar, by host now. I'm also thankful, for the initiative behind it. The crypto and blockchain space is one that, requires constant education due to its complexity and particularly to its newness. It's a new space, it's not one that's, it has been around for quite some time, actually, longer than most people actually know. But even at that, it's still very new, right? So, we always need to have constant conversations like this, teachings like this to constantly help us, understand the space. And I also realized, how important it is to have things like this. I was at the Tech Next conference last year, December, and I sat there and I listened. I thought I knew, you know, a bit about blockchain, and cryptocurrencies, but I sat there and they were discussing, saying a lot of things about it, and I realized, wow, there's still a lot I don't know. And the crypto and blockchain space is one that evolves, almost on a daily basis, right? It changes a lot. Something new is happening every day. So it's kind of hard to like keep up with everything. So with, initiatives like this, Twitter spaces, things like that, you're able to keep up with the things happening in the space. So thank you very much, host now for doing this and for, you know, allowing me to be a part of it. So I've covered this, the crypto and blockchain space for quite some time. During my few months at TechPoint Africa, I've seen that, it's not just, it's not a subject. It's a subject that takes time to, understand, but it's actually a subject that is even more difficult to report because, I've tried to, do some reports about it, and I realized that, it's not the usual thing, right? So breaking concepts down into bite-sized pieces without complicating them even further, becomes sometimes outstandingly difficult, right? So, and most times when I try to report blockchain and crypto issues, I become confused about the concepts myself because I fully understand them, but when you try to break them down, they become even more complex. So after spending so much time, researching, you then become so confused when you try to simplify them. So I hope I don't run into such problems today. So, and I hope that the little knowledge I've gathered during my time here at Tech Point, is adequate, for today's engagement. So I'll be talking about cryptocurrency, as the importance of digital assets And cryptocurrency has altered the way we view and store digital assets. But what do we refer to as digital assets? Or better still, what qualifies as an asset these days? I think that question is relative to who you're talking to and what it is they hold dear to themselves. But in its simplest form, digital assets are anything that can be stored digitally, from documents, music, images, to even more important things like nuclear launch codes, highly classified information, right? Essentially, digital assets are real world assets in electronic form. The focus of this webinar, however, isn't about every kind of electronically stored assets, but on a particular one that is playing a very peculiar role in world finance right now, and that's cryptocurrencies. But a great way to understand the importance of cryptocurrencies is to visualize them through a general lens. See it as a digital file on your mobile phone or on your computer. And say you want to send a music file from your mobile phone to your computer or to someone else, it's just as simple as using a cable or using a sharing software, right? That's all you need. Now bring that system into money. Say you want to send money to someone and it's as simple as just using sender or using bluetooth, and then it's just a simple drop. Sending money becomes a simple drop from just your computer to someone, drag and drop. That's easy. And in the most non-expert way I can put it, it is one of the reasons why cryptocurrencies were created, right? Just to be able to transfer money easily, without any hassles throughout the globe without any problems, right? And I'm sure that we'll agree that if money was that easy to transfer, there will be privacy issues. I mean security issues, right? If it was so easy to just send money to someone via Bluetooth, there will be a lot of security challenges, and that is where blockchain comes into play. Blockchain is probably the foundation on which cryptocurrencies are built upon. And I like to consider blockchain as one of the most important technologies of our generation. Blockchain is at its core everything we've been able to do with cryptocurrencies. But while blockchain possesses far more abilities than just facilitating and securing transaction and storage of cryptocurrencies, it has become inseparable from crypto, right? Blockchain is on its own, crypto is on its own. Blockchain is just, look at blockchain as internet and look at crypto as email. Internet allows you to be able to send emails, right? So, but then because blockchain was popularized by cryptocurrencies, we tend to join them together. And now you can't talk about crypto without talking about blockchain. You can't talk about blockchain without talking about crypto. So blockchain became popular because of cryptocurrencies, right? So if we're going to talk about digital assets, then we'll talk about blockchain. And then I like to see blockchain as one of the importance of digital assets because we might not have known what blockchain is capable of if not for cryptocurrencies. And I like to believe that we found blockchain through crypto. And while, we might just say one, the former exists because of the latter, blockchain might not have even existed. It will exist without crypto, but we won't know what it is capable of. So the world we live in today now has become more digital oriented with the passing of each day. Take this event, for example, it's holding online. It's a virtual event, it's taking place digitally. Likewise, a lot of what we do as humans is finding its way into the realms of zeros and one, into the digital realm. So, and then it's slowly eliminating the need for physical presence. So the future is inevitably digital. And we see this in things, we never thought could exist outside the physical world. You know, things we thought could not exist outside the physical. are now finding their ways into the digital realm. The metaverse is a glaring example, right? I'm sure we've heard a lot about the metaverse and people buying lands, people communicating in the metaverse, people even committing crimes in the metaverse, right? And you begin to wonder, how do you do these things in a virtual space? But it just goes to show that a lot of things are becoming digital, and I don't see any other way to explain, how important, how important the digital world can be than using the metaverse. A lot of people make money on the metaverse, and it's beginning to let us know that digital assets will become a huge part of the future. Digital assets is probably, in fact, itself, the future. So if the future is then digital, the importance of digital assets cannot be overestimated. When you talk about the importance of digital assets, I like to look at it in terms of the present and the future. I use the present to prove the possibility of what could happen in the future. An example is the digital assets, NFTs. I'm sure you're all familiar with NFTs. They've been a buzzword since last year. Gained so much popularity last in the past year, majorly through the news of people making a killing from NFTs. I personally interviewed an NFT, a 21-year-old NFT artist last year. His name is Anthony Azeko, and he discussed with me how he was able to make. He was a graphic designer. All he did was just graphics, digital drawings here and there, and then he came in contact with NFTs, and he decided to go for it. Within 20 minutes of doing his work, he was able to make more money he had ever made in his entire life within just 20 minutes. And then from there, you begin to see how digital assets can shape the future. But it's not always about how much money we can make with digital assets, and always knowing what's in vogue, how do I get into it, how do I make money from it. It's more important than that. I like to see digital assets, the importance of digital assets. I like to see them in a way whereby they affect, every ordinary citizen, the way they will affect, government, the way they will affect finance, and every aspect of human life, right? And that is why I look at the importance of digital assets from the present into the future. So while we can see the importance of NFTs through the way creators get appreciation for their work instantly by anyone from any part of the world, it's still only limited to a particular group of people who understand it, right? Um, because I understand how to mint an NFT, I can find my way around any NFT marketplace. I might be able to make money from it, but it's not the same thing for a farmer in Kenya, trying to make ends meet with Kenya. So that way, when you look at it that way, it's very skewed. Then digital assets are only important to a particular set of people, young people, digitally savvy people. But I don't like to look at digital assets in that way. It shouldn't be just for the digitally savvy. It shouldn't be for just those who know about it. It should be for everyone. So I like to look at its importance in terms of how it can affect every human life, every facet of human life. So, like I said, that's why I like to look at its importance from present to future. So, I can define its importance futuristically through what it is capable of right now in the present. I can then take a peek into the future and say NFTs will reconfigure the real estate market, for example, and make it possible from anyone, anywhere to buy properties in any part of the world. You see, now I've taken it from just what we know NFTs for. We know NFTs to be a way creators, musicians, but popularly artists, the way they make money, from what they do. We see that these digital assets is good for creators to make money. But now I'm taking to explain the importance of these digital assets. I want to take it into what it is possible of accomplishing in the future, right? So now it is only limited, its importance is only limited to creators, this particular group of people. They know about NFTs, they're digitally savvy. But now I want to take what NFTs are capable of now and how they can influence human life in every facet in the future. So I say in the future because it's not happening right now, it's still limited. But now NFTs could be a game changer in the real estate sector. It could give a chance to anyone from anywhere in the world to own properties, something that has only been relegated to a particular percentage of people that can afford it. See, so let's say I have 5 million naira. I cannot own a 100 million naira building. I can't say, you know what, give me half of the building. That's what I can afford. It's not possible. But NFTs could make that possible. These digital assets could make that possible. So because so I can then say, yes, let's look at what NFTs are doing now. It is non-fungible. So certificate of ownership can be stored uniquely, digitally. It is on the blockchain, so it's practically unhackable. It has smart contracts, so it eliminates the need for a lawyer when you want to go ahead and buy your real estate property. And then imagine the ease it will bring to being able to track historical ownership of properties, estimating the worth of properties within a long period of time. It is important to talk about the importance of digital assets futuristically because we have barely begun to scratch the surface of what digital assets are capable of. Let me continue with my examples about NFTs. Now, when we tokenize that $100 million building that I was not able to afford, and all I can afford is 5 million, when we tokenize it, we see that I'm able to own a particular percentage of it, even with my 5 million. So with my 5 million, I can still own property. Someone who has 100,000 naira can still own property. Someone with 50,000 naira can still own that same property. So we tokenize it and break it down. Let people buy bits of it. So you see ordinary people being able to participate in real estate ownership. That is the kind of importance I like to attribute to digital assets, not just what they are doing now and how it is limited to a particular, you know, facet of people, but what it can do for everyone. So they're also important because then when we tokenize that building and then people own different, chunks of it, you can automate how people get return on investments with smart contracts, right? So say I invested 5 million naira in that building. Someone else invested 20 million, someone invested 50,000, someone invested 100,000. You might be wondering, okay, that could cost a bit of franco. How do I know how much? Let's say it's an apartment building, and we get more rent money at the end of each year. So how do we split the money? How do we know who gets what? Who is paying who? Do I have to call an agent to remind him I haven't gotten my money? Things like that. But with NFTs and its smart contract capabilities, there is really no need for that. Everyone gets what is due to them immediately because smart contracts are contracts that carry out, what has been written down automatically immediately. So if the contract says at the end of the month when rent has been collected, give everyone their return on investment based on what they have invested. Smart contracts will carry these actions out immediately without needing anyone to do it for it. So you don't really need to trust anyone. You don't need to know who you own the building with. Smart contracts will take care of everything for you. So that's another importance of digital assets. So, but if we insist on talking about the importance of the present, we will barely go beyond crypto trading, how people make money with crypto trading, because crypto assets are predominantly a way to become rich. That's predominantly how we see them right now. We do not see them in a way whereby they can affect the lives of every human on earth right now. So that in itself isn't exactly a bad thing. I can see for a fact that it has been a lifeline for many to escape a life of penury. But I like like I stated earlier with my NFT example, it's important, its importance is only then limited to a certain set of people. So for this reason, I explore the importance of digital assets from what they could be rather than what they are. One of the first importance of digital assets, as I mentioned earlier, is blockchain. How it opens up possibilities for optimization in our current systems and industries. It will lead to one of the most massive disruptions in the world of finance and governance. I used real estate as an example earlier, and imagine the possibilities digital assets could bring. You know, So digital assets, from my examples, I'm sure you can see how they can shape the future. Today, we use passwords and authentications, questions to prove who we are online. But digital assets could also solve the problem of identity. This is another importance of digital assets that I think will be very important to every human. So today we use passwords, authentications, asking questions, things like that. And identity is integral to a functioning society and economy. It's at its most basic level. Identity is a collection of claims about a person, place, or thing. For people, this is, it usually consists of, name, date of birth, nationality, and governments, usually have, these data sets. It's a centralized data set. But instead of proving who you are by recalling some personal arbitrary piece of information that could potentially, be guessed or stolen by someone else. A digital identity is could be based on a unique random set of numbers on the blockchain network, right? So there's no issue of identity theft anymore, and there's no issue of trying to know who someone is because everyone's identity is on the blockchain, and then it becomes really easy to prove your identity anywhere you go, any country you are at any time. So, before I delve into further looking at, a lot of importance of digital assets, I'll just look at one more, and that would be how digital assets can shape the meaning of democracy for us, the meaning of being, the meaning of human beings being part of shaping their own destiny. And last year, June, I had a conversation with um, a blockchain engineer. He's the managing director of Africa, and he spoke about how we could actually take our process of conducting elections to the blockchain, and then we use digital assets to conduct our elections. And then we discovered that not only will it make our elections free and fair, but it reduces the amount of money we spend on elections. In the 2019 general elections, about 626 lives were lost. We spent about 245 billion naira on those elections. But if we take, the digital asset route, the blockchain route, we could save Nigerians and Africans a lot of money and a lot of time by bringing governance to the blockchain. So, throughout the course of this webinar, I hope I'll have an opportunity to delve in more into these things. And you know, crypto trading, DeFi activities, NFT trading are only preparing us for the future of what digital assets can do. They are helping us reveal the shortcomings of the technology, the things we need to do better, and how we need to make improvements. But ultimately, the future is digital, and digital assets will play a very important role in the future. Thank you very much. That will be my keynote.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful submission. I mean, quite a wealth of insights shared in there. I mean, guys, can we get some love for Bolu here? I mean, it's been real. If you learned anything, I'd like you to just, show some love in the chat feed section, because I mean, it's a whole lot to really wrap your head around when you think about it. Particularly if you're not the kind of person who gets into news early enough, or who is an early adopter. By the time everybody is in there now, you're wondering, what are they talking about? What's going on? I mean, we still had crypto and everybody's still trying to understand how crypto works and all of that. And now people are hearing NFTs and then they're seeing images and then it looks like it's just graphics. I mean, can't you just screenshot it? What's the you get and all of that? And I mean, it just looks like a whole lot. Especially and particularly if you've been left behind for a bit, and being able to demystify these things is a big deal, and you've been able to do so well for us to get that. I mean, I know you still do a lot more. I expect that you still share a few more things as we progress in the webinar. I should say right here that I got word from Oluchi, and she won't be able to join us eventually today. But I believe that you and I can have a conversation that would be way beneficial for the participants here. So let's just go straight into it. So talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency in a nutshell, cryptocurrency is let me say is an item that is possible because of the blockchain.
Exactly.
Right? The blockchain basically empowers cryptocurrency, right? So cryptocurrency is one of those things that is obtainable because we have the blockchain. And the blockchain in itself is more like a system of a decentralized system, right? That allows for things and should I say, I don't want to use the word item, but that allows for you to be able to access, say, information anywhere at the same time, being the same thing. I mean, which is where you mentioned the whole connection to government and how it can help with election. And I'm going to get there really. But the blockchain is a system that seems to be discussed as being very secure, right?
Yes.
The blockchain seems to be very secure as people have been discussing it. I mean, you can't steal, you can't lie about it. It's truth because it's decentralized. Nobody is controlling it. It's controlled by millions of computers around the world. You get, as everybody is plugging into the blockchain, you're basically enabling the network as it is. And because of that, it's not easy to control some things on it, right? And because we see that we have that power, we've been able to create cryptocurrencies out of it. I know that the widely known one, the most popular one, would be the Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
I think that was created by Vitalik Buterin, correct?
No. That was no. Vitalik Buterin was Ethereum.
Was Ethereum? Yeah, sorry.
Yes, Bitcoin was
Ethereum.
Satoshi Nakamoto. Yeah.
Exactly.
Although we
Satoshi.
don't know who he is or who they are.
Nobody knows who Satoshi is, but we all know that, okay, a young boy somewhere decided he was going to create some form of coin that would serve as a replacement to fiat money that we have today, and to help with trading. And we know that adoption of that was very, at the early stage, it was very low, right? People who even bought into it at some points were wondering, do we really need this thing? I heard of a guy who bought two pizzas with, was
Yeah,
it 30,000 or
10,000
10,000?
bitcoins.
10,000 bitcoins. Two pizzas
Yes,
with 10,000 bitcoins. Think about what
yes,
10,000 bitcoins is today. One bitcoin today is worth
yes.
about 40 something thousand, I think 46,000.
Yeah, it has
It's
dropped.
risen
It has
again.
dropped lately. It has dropped all the way down to around. Last time I checked, it was $35,000.
Oh no, funny enough, I think when I checked, say 2 days ago, I know it
Yes,
increased
it's yeah,
somehow.
it's yes, it went up to around 40,000. But for some reason,
Dropped back again
it's dropped again. Some are blaming it on the current unrest between Ukraine
with
and
Russia
Russia.
and Ukraine, definitely.
So
So let's even say it's 30,000, or let's say $35,000. You've got one Bitcoin is $35,000. One human being bought two pizza with 10,000 Bitcoins. I mean, I won't blame him because at the
yeah,
time they weren't worth anything, right?
yes,
They weren't
yes,
really
yes.
worth anything at the time. It's like how people are mining other
Mm-hmm.
currencies today, and then they'll tell you, oh, this thing is 0.0000001 dollar. If you buy
Yeah.
like
Uh,
1,000 naira, you get that kind of thing, right?
mm,
But somehow we've seen the rise of Bitcoin. 2017 seemed to be a defining factor for the Bitcoin as it is. I was with a financial investment company at the time, and
oh,
we
okay.
were really into the whole cryptocurrency thing because we basically used to trade the stocks, and we traded currencies and stuff, and Bitcoin was wonderful in 2017, right? As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, the rise of Bitcoin can be tied to 2017 and what happened to it, in there.
Yes.
But then again, a lot of people have still not been able to say, I want to own Bitcoin. Not to talk less of trust in, because a lot of people still don't trust it. I mean, a lot of governments still don't trust it. Just last year, the Nigerian government banned the use of Bitcoin in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. I mean, this is currency that the leaders of the world, the leading countries in the world are adopting to say, let's begin to use this. And then a country like Nigeria is saying, we are banning Bitcoin, even though we know, those of us that, I mean, if you understand the way Nigerian government works, you will know that it's a
Mm.
tactic,
Yeah.
right? It's a tactic for the now e-wallet that
Yes.
that
Yes.
was eventually released. Just the same way they did with Uber and Taxify, tried to ban them because they were trying to come up with the the lag cab thing, the Lagos cab thing, which recently,
Yes.
like a few days
Yes.
ago, they released in the streets, and people were wondering, oh wow, what's happening? And I really don't want to go into how that we want to put in
Mm-hmm.
hundreds and thousands of cars into the Lagos road that's already congested. But let's not even go there. But back to the Bitcoin. What do you think about um, the adoption of cryptocurrency, particularly when it comes to government? And because, I mean, to a large extent, governments can censor how, or they can try to censor how people use Bitcoin. We can bring it down to Nigerian government, for instance. You know what happened last year. What do you think about that? Do you think it will affect the way people really use Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies generally? Do you think it will affect the way we buy and sell? Do you think it's going to affect the way we trade with international communities? What do you think?
Okay. So, talking about adoption, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the government can, censor, how people use, cryptocurrencies. But the truth is, it's a decentralized network, right? So, they can't actually, they can actually censor how people decide to use it. The only way they can do that is through the centralized exchanges, right? So, the thing about cryptocurrencies is cryptocurrencies exist, in a decentralized space. That's where blockchain comes in. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, blockchain is just look at blockchain as a decentralized ledger, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not controlled by one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's controlled by a lot of people. It's a network. It's a network of nodes, network of computers. Working together to prevent theft, double spending and things like that. So, in the actual sense of it, the government can't really do anything about how people use cryptocurrencies. But the only thing, I think the only leverage they have is the amount of understanding people have of cryptocurrencies, because the decentralized because people don't really know they can still do a lot with cryptocurrencies, even if your government bans cryptocurrencies. You can still do a lot with it. That is if you now understand how to use it in the decentralized space, which is now quite um, complicated. So a lot of people use the centralized, way of accessing cryptocurrencies, which the government can now control. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about platforms like Binance, Bundle, Luno.
Yep.
Those are centralized platforms owned by someone. The government can say, okay, the owners of Luno don't do this. We don't want you to do this. We don't want you to do
Mm-hmm.
this. Then the government can control how people use cryptocurrencies. But now we now have the decentralized ones. Now we have decentralized exchanges. These decentralized exchanges, the government can't do anything about decentralized exchanges. There's no owner. It just exists. You can't block them. You can't stop them. They will continue to function. But then using decentralized exchanges is quite complex. It's quite risky because there are a lot of bad players in that. When you use Binance, when something goes wrong, you can call the customer care and be like, "What happened? I can't find my funds. This happened. I mistakenly sent Bitcoin to the wrong address," and they can help you out. There's something like that, in the decentralized space. You can't talk to anyone. It's either you know how to go about it or you don't. And when you make a mistake, no one is rectifying it. So I think that is the only old government has on how people can use cryptocurrencies. And in terms of how the actions government take will affect trading volumes, how we interact, in terms of crypto with other people, with other countries. It really does a lot. It goes a long way. But then when you look at it, when the government made the announcement, I think that was last year, February 4th, yes, when they released the circular, right? When CBN released the circular, it didn't really do much when you look at it, because people turned to peer to peer. And then these decentralized exchanges were able to find a way for people to use peer to peer. So they said banks should not foster any transaction, any digital currency transaction. And they said they should. So it became hard because normally, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin on Luno, right? All you had to do was just input your ATM details, tell them, okay, I want to buy 20K Bitcoin, enter it, they send you your Bitcoins. So it was not that simple again. You could not do it that easily. So the what other exchanges decided to do, such as Binance, was, you know what? Let's do peer to peer. You need crypto. Why not get crypto from someone else that has, and the person will give you cash? So they need the peer to peer, and then we saw peer to peer volumes grow astronomically during that time. I can't remember the figures now, but it was insane. Around $500 million in Nigeria alone in a month, and that's crazy. So it grew because the government, they blocked a way, and then people found another way, and then everyone. So them banning crypto, or limiting how people's access to crypto, it doesn't really do much. It doesn't really do much, but it now affects level of adoption, because not a lot of people know about peer to peer now. It's still kind of more complicated than just entering you buy things online every time. So if buying crypto is as easy as just entering your ATM details and getting it, that's pretty easy. But then the peer to peer was now became a little bit more complicated, but then people still, it's now, we can even say, it now gives chance for people to now understand crypto more. So it's really limited what the governments can do in terms of adoption, in terms of stopping how people use cryptocurrencies, because it's a decentralized world. You can't hold
Mm-hmm.
anyone back. And I can go on a decentralized platform and say, I'm not even using Binance again. I'm not using Luno again. I'm going
Yep.
to go on PancakeSwap and I'll do my trades on PancakeSwap, which is a decentralized exchange, right? And the government can really do anything about that. So In terms of that, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I mean, you know how that a lot of people, as you've said, really don't know much about this, and whatever the space is, and so people listen to entities like the government for direction sometimes, and then when the government will come and try to just say something, it more like bullies people into thinking, oh, this is what's up. But then
That's
again,
true.
we have
That's
the
true.
we have the we have the issue of this generation being different. Let's be clear
Exactly.
about that. Because this is the generation where you see government says A, everybody's first of all wondering, you are lying. Let's go and figure out if it's true or not. Then if it's not
That's
true,
always the
everybody
first
comes and
instinct.
says, right? Everybody now comes and says, you know what, these people is a lie. Let's just go our own way, which is what happened with peer-to-peer last year. You can literally
Yes.
find almost I don't think there's any day within the next 3 months that the government raised raised the ban, or when they sanctioned the ban, right? For the next 3 months, there's one person or the other that will post something called peer-to-peer on WhatsApp. Somebody will post something, and that alone, as you have said, had helped a lot of people to understand even more, to say, oh, so this is not really as bad as it
Yeah.
is. But there are still some issues around it, one of which you mentioned earlier, saying that what you do on the decentralized network is what you do. If you make mistakes, nobody's helping you out with it. People have wallets that they can't get access to anymore. People have wallets, say Bitcoin, for instance, and then you bought Bitcoin and you have Bitcoin wallets. You're supposed to have a key to be able to access your wallet. As simple as having an app on your phone, a BitPay, for instance, right? And you store your cryptocurrency, say Bitcoin, on BitPay. Is weird to understand, or I learned at some point. You can shed light on this and correct if
Okay.
I'm wrong. That your currencies exist on your phone just because you now have BitPay on your phone. And if you lose that app, you're not getting it anymore. You can't find it you can't say, oh, go to a website and say, oh, because I have BitPay somewhere on my phone, I can also access it on the website. You can't. Because it's already on your phone, the only way you can access it is through your phone, except if you now move it from your phone to another device. But if you don't, and you lose that app, you lose your currency, you lose your money, right? A lot of people will be scared about that, right? And I mean,
True.
considering that nobody is really there to help out, this sort of also, as I said, scares people away from using cryptocurrency, because we're not used to the whole security of it. The security of it looks vague in its sense. And I don't know if you want to speak to that, right?
Okay.
How that one little mistake can cost you everything you've got.
All right. Yeah. So the thing, I think I will first, so that a lot of people understand what I'm saying. I think I will first have to maybe properly define the concept of centralized and decentralized, right? So when you open a wallet, a crypto wallet on Binance, for example, you open with your username, your password. If you lose it, you can do forgot password. They ask for some questions. You get your wallet back, right? But then when you open on a decentralized platform, so the thing with decentralized platform is they call it what's it called now? Uh, um, um, non-custodial wallets. So the difference is Binance is a custodial wallet. Binance is actually holding your private key for you. They, to understand it better, let's just say your cryptocurrencies are not exactly yours when it's on Binance. It's for Binance, but then Binance is now giving you access to it. Binance is now like a someone who okay,
Gateway.
you can't do it on the decentralized platform by yourself. Let me help you do it. I'll hold it for you. When you need it, I'll give it to you. You want to send it, they do
I'll
it
send
that
it.
way. Yes, but then you can now go directly, you know to the non-custodial wallets and be like, I don't want to use Binance. I want to go on the blockchain directly and own my own stuff. But then when you do that, you need to understand the concepts very well. So because if you make mistakes, uh, that might be the end. So then you need to understand concepts of private key. concept of seed phrases. So an
Mm-hmm.
example of non-custodial wallets is now trust wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also lead wallets. I don't know how well it's still functioning, but trust wallet is a very popular one. So
Yep.
it's non-custodial. So you notice that those wallets you don't need. Binance will ask you driving license, this, that, KYC things,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is when you look at it, is not the reason why cryptocurrencies were created in the first place. Cryptocurrencies were created so that people transfer money, transfer things like that without having to do any KYC. Nobody asking for your name, no documentation. You just
Mm-hmm.
go there, collect, send, receive. So when you do it directly, when you have that trust wallet, you notice that you don't have to do anything. They just say, "This is your
Mm-hmm.
seed phrase. Keep it well.
Mm-hmm.
You lose it, no one can help you."
And those phrases are just a bunch of words that you're
Yes.
wondering, they don't mean anything. They are
Yeah, they
not
don't
a
mean anything.
sentence. They mean
Um,
like 8 words, and they just tell you
mhm.
to keep it. And you're wondering, okay, how is this a password?
So
But
the
yeah,
thing about
continue.
seed phrases is actually there are 12 words, right? Seed phrases are actually your private key that we now converted into
Phrases.
words. Yeah, they converted into phrases so that it's easier to store, it's easier to keep. Because the private key is also a string of numbers that is so long and it
Mm-hmm.
becomes you might make mistakes in the process of maybe writing it down, but then they use seed phrases. So you keep those seed phrases, and those seed phrases are your, they are essentially they are your key to that word. You lose it, no one can do anything about it. Not even the creator of the blockchain can do anything about it. Not Trust
Mm-hmm.
Wallet can do anything about it. So
Yeah.
that is now, that's how you now understand, the concept of custodial wallets and non-custodial wallets. Binance is
Basically.
helping you keep custody of your wallet, of your coins. When you go to the decentralized platforms, you are doing it yourself, keeping it yourself. It behooves you to your own security guard now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's it, right? So it's not and then people also mistake that for saying blockchain is not secure enough. People can easily hack you. Blockchain in itself is absolutely secure. But when you give someone else your private key and they sweep your wallet, that's really not blockchain's fault. It's like you have a gate. I like to explain this way. You have a gate now. It's a 10-inch, titanium metal gate, very strong,
Mm-hmm.
impenetrable. But then you leave it open.
Reinforced.
Yes, you leave it open. People come into your house and they steal from you. It's not the fault of the gate, right? It's your fault.
Obviously.
Yes, the gate is there for you to lock it. Okay, you want to enter your house, you open, you enter. Lock it back anytime you enter. But you leave it open, people come in. It's not that they broke in through the gate. You just give them access.
Now, let me speak to this right very quickly. So, what if you actually locked the gate? You did not give the key to anybody. Is it possible that people find their way through this gate
Okay.
into your property and loot your property? And I'm using this to ask a question that one of the participants asked to say, how do we then curb cyber theft with digital assets of crypto? Because I know for a fact that there's been
Mm-hmm.
cases of somebody's currencies were stolen.
Stolen,
What
yeah.
exactly happens?
Okay. So in terms of that, it's still a matter of the block. I'll still maintain my stance that the blockchain is absolutely secure. But then some people are very intelligent. They are very smart. They can trick you into opening the gate. They can trick you into saying, "Oh, I'm your uncle from Canada. I came to pay you a visit. Please open the gate," and then they come in. So yes, people do that. People are extremely intelligent. People who know, who can easily find
Hmm,
their way around the blockchain. So they do
interesting.
things like phishing scams. I don't know if you heard of that.
Fishing.
Phishing,
Yeah.
yeah. So phishing scams is a scam where you think you are on. That is why I would advise people keep your trading, keep everything you do on a centralized platform. Keep it to Binance, keep it to keep it to Bolu. Don't go there if you don't go to the decentralized place if you don't fully understand it, right?
Hmm.
That's a mistake most people. So they will come in form of, you think you are on that, you decentralized platforms. They are like a website, right? You're on a website, you are there, you do your stuff, you input your security codes to access things, right? And that's it. You go, it's locked. But then someone now creates a duplicate website that looks exactly like that
The one.
decentralized platform.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see where I'm going with this. And then you're
Sure.
there. You input your private key,
Details.
everything to access. They have the access. They now go to your own original wallet and then they
And
sweep
then
it.
sweep.
So you see that it's still not that the blockchain is not secure. Someone was just smart enough to get those things from you. That's why I said they will come to the gate and say, "Oh, it's your uncle." Like it's a familiar person. Open the gate, let me enter, and then it turns out they're an armed robber. You understand
So I
me
want to
now?
ask here. I totally get you. And I want to ask here. Talking about phishing, right?
Mhm.
Somebody asked in the chat, in the question section, recently there were rumors of NFTs being stolen, by phishing attacks. What is then the guarantee of security on NFT? And I think really this is related to the same thing you just discussed, right? Either it's NFT or it's cryptocurrency or it's Bitcoin or it's another coin, Dogecoin or something. Phishing is phishing. If you fall for it, you're gone,
That's it.
right?
That's
If you
it.
fall for it, either you like it or not, phishing is phishing. And we all know that phishing is a big deal, right? I mean, I run a hosting company, and if any of the websites hosted on our servers should, attempt to phish or something, a whole server could go down. Not because, it's attacked the server, but because we're trying to be security conscious, not to allow it spread to other users of the server. But we see a lot of people would create domains with Kinikon wallets, Kinikon bank, something wallet. And you're
Okay.
wondering when did Nigerians begin to create wallet company like this? But yeah, and we know we get that the idea of what they're trying to do. So, either it's NFTs or it's cryptocurrencies, phishing is
Yeah.
phishing, right? And, people will still do what they'll do. So it basically, just as you have said, your level of security and understanding of the platform is what should inform which of these you should use. Either the
Exactly.
centralized platforms, like the Binance, right, the bundle
Yeah.
and the likes, or the decentralized ones like Trust Wallets, right? Um,
Mm.
uh, Beautiful, beautiful. I remember one time
All
I
right.
was trying to
Okay.
buy, so I had the Trust Wallet and I was trying to buy Bitcoin from, no, it wasn't Bitcoin. My brother was asking me to buy a particular coin that it's new, they just
Okay.
minted, and all of that. And then I said, okay, sure, no problem. So I said, okay, let me put $100 into it, right? And then he goes, oh yeah, so send me the $100, send me your key. I'm like, eh? Iwo Atitani. He's my younger brother. He's my
Wow.
younger brother. But I'm like, eh? You are who? He said, no, now I know you are busy. You don't want to stress it. I said, let me stress.
Let me stress
Trust
it.
wallets. Let me stress. Because I understand the idea of it, right? Now, I know he's not going to defraud me.
Mhm.
But I don't trust that if I text him that
Someone else will
that
not see
detail
it.
on WhatsApp, someone is not going to see it and get a hold of whatever is in my wallet. And then it's just, even if it may not be him, it could be his babe, for instance, who is just going through his phone because it's his babe now. He can leave the phone with her. Then that one goes and sees trust wallets. But boy, you get there, your elder brother have been looking for ways to chop his money since. Carry the wallet, run away, that kind of thing. So even to my brother, who is my family member, I was being secure to that extent to say, oh, dude, I can't send you my key
Yeah.
for my Trust wallet. If you're going to send anything to me, use the swap or the send feature on Trust Wallet and then send to me directly, or I will buy directly from there. I'm not going to send you the key. No vex. I know nobody I don't trust you, but I can't do it. I mean, it's different from, say, bank accounts. I can give you my ATM card and give you maybe my PIN. And I say, go and withdraw money. Withdraw 50,000 naira. And I've seen that you have withdrawn 50K. The following day, you withdraw 10K. I will just go to the bank app and lock it. The ATM will not work again.
True.
But when it comes to the likes of the security key of a wallet, a decentralized wallet, if they pack everything there, there's nothing you can do about it. You can
Yes.
literally say, "Oh, guy, you did this," and he'll tell you it's not the one because you can't even see, you can't trace it to say
Yes.
he did it, right? So I mean, those are some of the things around there. So let me ask one of the other questions here. Someone
Okay.
says the situation of or the situation where the concept of smart contract fails, right? Is there any situation where a smart contract could fail? So let's put an
Okay.
example to it and say an NFT contract, right? Is there any
Mhm.
situation where it fails? And if so, what would be the solution?
Okay. So the thing about smart contracts is, it's a bit more technical than just regular cryptocurrency. When you leave your private key, someone can steal your. So with smart contracts, it's a bit more technical. It's now a smart contract. They're saying that a smart contract is only as good, it's only as secure as the developers, right?
Mhm.
So if the person who wrote a smart contract, the developer wrote a smart contract, did not look at, smart contracts are just like regular contracts, right? When you look at a contract, a good lawyer can say, I found loopholes in this contract that can benefit you. Let's use
Mhm.
it. Same thing with smart contract. If your developer wrote a smart contract and another very good developer sees a loophole in that, they can take advantage of it and they can do really terrible things when they do
So
that.
why then should we trust smart
So
contracts
the
that are
thing
not
with
created
smart
by ours?
Yes. So the thing with smart contracts is now the fact that they are open source. When you write smart contracts, you make them open source. Anyone can read it, go through it, and then tell you there's something wrong somewhere. Fix it. People can take advantage of this. And then that's how we secure smart contracts, right?
Mm.
So there was an example of when things went wrong with smart contracts was back in 2016, where a decentralized autonomous organization was created, a DAO was created, and the whole point of the DAO was to be something like a venture capital to invest in crypto projects, and then they will raise, it will be a decentralized venture capital. Just look at it that
Mhm.
way, decentralized venture capital, where people bring money together. They don't necessarily have to know each other, and
Mhm.
then you know a lot of things that will happen will be run by smart contracts. When they vote, okay, what do we
Mhm.
invest in? Everybody votes. Let's invest in Emmanuel's company.
Mhm.
Once smart contract is everybody voted for Emmanuel, it will carry it out immediately. Send money to Emmanuel.
Mhm.
They've invested in Emmanuel. Nobody has to. You don't have to trust anyone that is the accountant
No
really sending the money.
bureaucracy,
No, no,
nothing, no
nothing.
delay.
Nobody even
Yeah.
has to do anything. Nobody has to know
Mhm.
anybody. So, but then they were able to raise about $150 million to use for investments, and then right before the thing started running, you know, it was a little too late. A group of people saw something wrong in that smart contract, and it was already too late. Someone was able to see that loophole and take advantage of it. And then he did it. What he did was that he you can't oppose him. He can say, take all the money to my account, to my wallet, and nobody can really do anything about it. You will see him doing it.
Wow.
You will see the money leaving, but you can't do anything about it. You can't even tell the smart, because he found a loophole and he used it. And if smart contracts trust him because he was able to,
It's open
take
source.
over, yes, take over the whole thing. And then, $150 million, went to dust. And that's why I say, if you listen to my keynote, I said we are in the early stages. We are
Mhm.
in the early stages. What we are seeing now is preparing us for what we can do in future. Is letting us
Mhm.
see the shortcomings. Where do we need to improve? What do we need to do? And then we now take that, and then cryptocurrencies right now. As much as people talk about it, when you look at data, the crypto blockchain, the adoption level is still really, really small. Only a fraction of the world's population still use these things. So we are at the early stage. Before we get to that mainstream, we need to understand what is wrong. What can we change? How can we make this better? So but since 2016, smart contracts have become more resilient. They've become more powerful, and we've barely seen situation whereby someone takes over a smart contract. But we're still seeing things within DeFi. I think sometime last year there was a $600 million hack, there was a two hundred and
Yeah.
fifty million dollar hack, and these things, and in this, that's why I say people should still stick with, when it comes to your crypto thing. I think to an extent we have that figured out. Stay on Binance, do your stuff on Binance. Let Binance take care of the security for you.
Mm.
You get, even if
Yeah.
things go wrong, they have insurance. You won't lose too much. You get your stuff back. So stay
Mm-hmm.
there, and it's not. And I want to also clarify. It's not that these things are not secure. Blockchain is secure, but it's just tricks. People who know about these things. People who are developers, very intelligent people. They can play tricks
Yeah.
and take over.
So, so thank you so much for that. Now, when we say people stay on Binance and stuff, these platforms, I think they are limited really, because I mean, they
You're
have
right.
specific currencies, for instance, that they would allow on their platform, right? And then people mint currencies every day, new currencies every day. There was Abuja coin at some point. I know that one of the guys that I was working with sometime in 2017 was already creating one coin. We called it Nigeria coin or so. I knew that they didn't really have a light of day because they tried to get investors here and there. One of my guys that invested in it, money went away, stuff like that, right? But there's coins being minted every day. When you go to the likes of these trust wallets and stuff, you see them. They are there. The ADA, the everything, Dogecoin, Kiniko coin, that one coin, every coin. So the fact that people now, I mean, truly these days, a lot of coins are being built, or should I say, not coins. Now that brings me to something else. There are entities. Now I don't want to use the word I know, but there are entities that are created as a result of projects built on Ethereum. You get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, those entities are supposed to be traded, because, based on the movement of those projects, or the actions of those projects, how they're going, if they're doing well. Actually, first of all, it's about, do I think these projects would make sense, right? So somebody can create a project based off on the fact that there is looming war between Russia and Ukraine, and then say that, I mean, this is a current occurrence, and because of this, I'm creating this coin, and this coin is meant to do this, and people begin to invest in it to say I'm buying or not. Now, I know I was vague with what I just said. I like it to be a bit more direct and define exactly what people do with projects being built on Ethereum, and then other people now begin to trade them. Please do.
Okay. All right. So it's funny enough that creating meeting currencies is now relatively easy. You can literally create your own coin within 1 hour or 2 hours, and you're done. It's quite easy because of platforms like Binance Smart Chain, like Ethereum, like you've said,
Mm-hmm.
and people can just build on these blockchains. It was in the early days you had to build your own entire blockchain infrastructure from
Mm-hmm.
scratch, which is extremely
Huge.
yeah, difficult.
Difficult.
So but now you can just all you need is just some lines of code. You can just copy paste. What is the name of the coin you want to make? Paste and this, and tell people,
Have a
it's that
coin.
simple. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So that's where people also need to be careful. There are a lot of, I think, last time I checked it some months ago, we have like 16,000 different kind of coins out there, kinds of projects out there. So and a lot of these projects, okay, let me generalize. Some of these projects were just created for the sole purpose of scamming people, right? And when people create, and the popular way people do that is they create a coin, they create so much hype around it, they create a bubble around it, so much
Mm-hmm.
hype. People are like, whoa, this, that is growing, is doing this, and then you buy into it, and then after let's say you decide to, let me invest 100K in this coin, Someone else says, let me invest 10 million in this coin. Everybody's investing. It's going to pump, it's going to go up. And then it pumps. Well, oh well, it pumps, but then before you can cash out or do anything, the creators cash out before you, because they usually have the creators who own a very large amount of these tokens. That's what they do. They own a very large amount, and then when they see when it has grown to their target, let's say they start at 3 cents, 3 cents, right? And then the price of the coin has gone up to say $3, and then they have about 500 million or say 100 billion, tokens of that coin, right? They then cash out. When they sell like that, it destroys that token. Its values.
Mhm.
That's why you see some tokens, their value will go down to zero, and then people who have invested 10 million, 100K, they lose all their money. So a way to be, a way to spot, this type of, pop and dump scams or rug pull, as they call it, is to do your own research. You cannot, I'm sure, when you've listened to a lot of crypto and blockchain webinars, you will constantly do your own research. Don't just follow the hype. Oh, there's so much hype. You enter, do your own research. And how do you do your own research? You look at the infrastructure of, look at the plan of this. Every token has something they call a white paper. Look at the white
Mhm.
paper, go through it. What's their plan? Why was it created? What's the idea behind it? A lot of these pop and dump scams, when you look at their white paper, you don't see anything concrete. You just see they'll just give it to someone on Fiverr to write a white paper for them, or someone on Upwork. And then when you can't see anything concrete, when you can't see a story behind why they created it, what they want to achieve, with that
Mhm.
token, this is most likely a scam. It might turn out not to be a scam. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes people start out by wanting to scam people, and they see how well the community has grown, the community behind the token has grown, and they decide not to. And then if you are, say they said, if white paper is not looking forthcoming, you should not invest. See this thing, it has blown out. That see, it's not every coin you make money off of, right? Just to
Mhm.
protect yourself. It's not every coin.
Yep.
So look at the white paper and know, and from there you know that okay, this is something that has a future. This is something that should invest. If not, just leave it alone. Don't be rock pulled. Don't fall for pump and dump.
A good example of scams and stuff like this is the Squid Game coin scam.
Oh, that
A
was
lot of
massive.
people don't know that there was a Squid Game coin scam of about $3.38 million,
Oh, it was massive. It was
right?
massive.
And I mean, this is funny. Squid Game, the movie
Mm-hmm.
came out. The show came out. People loved it. It was beautiful, right? So some people created. They said, okay, you know what? If this movie was this widely accepted,
Mm-hmm.
we can create a coin out of this as a project, which I don't understand what they were trying to do with the project, sincerely. And then they did. They got a lot of people to start investing. I know it started at some point, it was 600, it rose to like 2,618 per
It
coin.
was crazy. It was
And
crazy.
when it hits about $3.38 million, they packed everything and went. Till
It was so
today,
sad.
everybody that invested in that coin, they just knew that their money is
Yes,
gone,
and
right?
they were
So now,
intelligent. It was very intelligent on
beautifully,
part
it
of.
was beautifully done. I mean, it was some level of money heist kind of intelligence, if you ask me. I mean, and the irony of it, really. But then, I mean, that happens. And then, so this brings me to say, let's do a little comparison between cryptocurrency and fiat money, right? What are the differences there for people? I mean, a lot of people now own cryptocurrencies. Some just buy it because they want to, they want to just keep what we call hodl and then get it to increase and then they sell. Some buy it because fear of missing out, FOMO, and some people actually trade with it, like literally buy things on the internet with cryptocurrencies and they buy and spend and all of that. But there's an underlying concept to cryptocurrency, which is widespread, But people, so I want us to relate it to how fiat runs, how it works, and the differences. Which is the factor there is with cryptocurrency, your one Bitcoin today can be worth $35,000. Tomorrow, it is worth $5,000. And next tomorrow, it is worth $50,000. Right? Now, how can people trust that as a legal tender when I have money? Say right now, I have, maybe say, let's use Naira. I have 100,000 Naira, and I've kept the 100,000 Naira in Bitcoin. This 100,000 Naira now that is in Bitcoin, tomorrow, like literally tomorrow, it is 20-something thousand Naira. And then if I'm just patient enough, maybe next tomorrow, it could be 300-something thousand Naira. How do I buy things? How do I spend out of that? Because with fiat, I know that Nigerian Naira depreciates, but at least it's depreciating systematically that I'm really not knowing the difference. I'm not seeing the effect on a day-to-day basis, except when I look at 6 months difference and I'm like, pure water was 20 Naira, the pure water was 10 Naira. Now pure water is 20 Naira. This pure water that is 5 Naira like 2 years ago is now 20 Naira. Kilo shell, something is going wrong. But with Bitcoin, it can literally be from 5 Naira to 20 Naira in like 24 hours, and then back to 2 Naira in less than 2 hours. Maybe because Russia's Putin decided to, to be a villain or something, or whatever it is doing, and everybody's scared. So everybody's running away from it. And then we know how it works now, because people are saying, oh, you know what, I want to sell. There's a lot of supply in the market, very low demand. Obviously, it waters down the value of whatever asset it is. In this case, the Bitcoin. So, I mean, let's speak to that. How do you expect people to buy things and sell when it is very not stable?
All right. So the issue of volatility with cryptocurrencies is perhaps one thing that makes it, even more interesting. It's the reason where, you know, most times what people talk about with cryptocurrency is how you can make money with it. People go into cryptocurrency for speculative reasons, speculating that, by so time, the price of Bitcoin should be this, let me invest. So, and there's been an argument that cryptocurrency should not even be called cryptocurrency, right? Some say let's just call it crypto assets, because when you look at it, you can't exactly call it a currency. You can't buy buy with it or sell with it, because it's the volatility, the level of volatility is just crazy. That's why I see people say, I was rich yesterday, but I'm poor again today. You can be rich in the morning and by 12
Or in the
p.m.
afternoon?
Yes. So
Yep.
some arguments, as we've had arguments around that why do we even call it cryptocurrency? It's not exactly a currency,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can use it as a currency, but because of the issue of volatility, right?
Volatility.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we shouldn't really call it a currency. But then, you know, let me also, I think I should also explain why we have that volatility issue, right? And I like to use an explanation that Quidax founder usually uses, Buchi Okoro, and he has a very interesting way of explaining why cryptocurrencies will be high in the morning and they'll be low at night. And it's simply because cryptocurrencies are in a very, or let me say crypto assets. I don't also want to, I think we shouldn't call them cryptocurrencies. Let's just call them crypto assets. Crypto assets
Okay.
belong to a different asset class. And they are in a new asset.
Bolu, I'm not sure if I lost you or if everybody lost me. Guys, if you can hear me, can I get some feedback in the chat section to be sure that you guys can hear me? Can I see some feedback in the chat section if you can hear me? Because I want to be sure. Okay, you can hear me. So it is Bolu that we lost here. Okay, so very likely network issues. We'll see. We'll try and get Bolu to circle back with that. We'll try and hopefully Bolu circles back very soon and is able to join us again. But then again, so I'll just continue. And when Bolu comes back in, I'll just chill for like a few minutes. Hopefully he comes back in. There's something I wanted to speak to earlier, right? Okay, let me just finish up with the questions in the chat free section. Someone says, so for some of us who do not know anything about crypto and would like to invest in one, which one is advisable, safe, and secure to invest? Nobody. No crypto expert that knows what they're doing will ever tell you invest in this particular one. They'll rather tell you to go do your research. Really, because when they tell you to invest in this and then you invest in it, I mean, Bolu was just talking about the issue of volatility, how that crypto assets are not stable. When you do invest in one and then volatility happens, you've put your 50,000 naira into it and the volatility happens and in the night it's gone. Oh, Bolu is back. Bolu,
okay, yeah.
back.
Sorry about that.
Let me just round off with this.
Okay.
No, let me just round off with this. So I was just speaking to the question of someone asking which currency is advisable to invest in. And I'm saying that nobody that's an expert on cryptocurrency would ever tell you invest in this. Nobody ever. It's do your research, whichever one you're comfortable with, go ahead. Because just as you were saying, the issue of volatility really is the big deal. You know, someone says, oh yeah, so invest in this. So you invest. Now, you put your 100,000 naira in the morning and in the afternoon, your money is 2,000 naira. You're not going to hold that person on the neck and say, Oga, now you say make I invest to, where my money? Nobody wants that. So nobody will really tell you to invest in any particular one, right? Yeah. They'll rather tell you to do your research. If you're going to invest in Dogecoin, maybe Ethereum-based currencies that are created out of projects, do your research. Be sure that, and Bolu has said this earlier, be sure that you understand what they're trying to achieve with it. Be sure that you are even, should I say, you're comfortable with such projects and you are sure that the projects that they are doing is one that would yield profits or something before you invest. You know, just like saying you're doing due diligence on investing in any other currency, you know, say the fiat now in the stock market or the trade markets. It's just what it is. Nobody will tell you invest in this particular one. So Bolu, I'll allow you to finish your thoughts on that and then take the final few questions and go.
Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about what's it called now? Volatility, right? And why yes, and why the crypto market is the way it is. So I was explaining in terms of
using someone's explanation.
Yes, Buchi Okoro, the founder of Quidax, the crypto exchange.
Yeah.
So the crypto market is like a pocket. So when you put a baby in that pocket, you see that the water level will rise. Yeah, if you put an adult like me now in that bucket, it will rise even more because I'm heavy.
A lot more. Yeah.
Yes, that's the crypto market. So now take the dollar market, for example. The dollar market is now, instead of a bucket, is like a swimming pool. If you put a baby in that swimming pool, the water level doesn't necessarily rise. If you put me in that swimming pool, but
not much different.
So the crypto market is a small asset class. So when any small changes occur, it easily affects the price level. So if someone like Elon Musk says, you know what, I want to invest $3 billion.
This is what I want to do.
I want to invest $3 billion in Ethereum today. You see that something happens to an Ethereum market. If he says, you know what, I'm taking out my $3 billion, you see the market come back. So a lot of these movements that people make, you know, day in, day out in the market, that's why it affects the market easily. It's a small asset class. So the crypto market is still growing. It will grow to the level where the dollar was. The dollar was once in that level too, where it changed easily. You know, things change like sporadically like that. So the crypto market is getting there, but it's still small. So by the time the crypto market gets to that point, maybe we can then start using Bitcoin to pay for stuff on a daily basis because we will have a more stable price. But even at that, we have stable coins. they have stable
Mm-hmm.
coins that you can use, to pay for stuff, and they're just like cryptocurrency, easily transferable, across borders, and they're stable, because
Mm.
pegged they've been pegged with the dollar. So that is why the issue of volatility is
Volatility
like
is the
that.
way it is. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for shedding light. I mean, I particularly like that analogy of the bucket and the swimming pool.
Yeah,
Beautiful way to understand it. And one thing remains true to all of them. The concept of supply and demand will still continue to affect the price of anything anywhere.
exactly.
Either you just think about your markets. I mean, just normal markets going to buy stuff in the markets here. When there are, what am I even saying? Petroleum. Recently, we've had the issue of scarcity of petroleum products in Nigeria, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
was an illusion of scarcity because there were products, there are still products. But because they said a particular vessel came with, adulterated, contaminated, fuel, and they will not be able to circulate that, it's possible there will be scarcity for a while. It is possible there will be scarcity for a while. People that had kept theirs and say, we're not selling. Meaning that they know everybody is trying to buy. People, the demand is high. Supply now is low. So the people that will now sell will do funny things. As funny as sell for 300 naira per liter. I heard that some petroleum stations were collecting gate fee for
Wow,
you to enter. I'm telling you, gate fee before you can enter into the petroleum station to buy
that's crazy.
fuel, right? And I mean, it is what it is. So the whole idea of supply and demand will continue to affect. And when it is a very small asset base, like the bucket-sized crypto assets,
Mm-hmm.
it is easily movable. The volatility level is very high. So I mean, things like that will just continue to occur. So I mean, thank you so much for that analogy.
Yeah.
Really shed a lot of light on that. And as we begin to round up, I just want to take the few questions because usually we
Okay.
like to be under 1 hour 30 minutes.
All right.
Someone says even with your do your own research and then your white papers available, roadmaps
Mm-hmm.
seem legit. How exactly do rug pulls happen? I think you
Okay.
had answered this earlier. Maybe just put it in like 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's why I said it's not every you are not supposed to make money with every coin you see. You are not supposed to make money with every single ICO. Some people's white paper will, like the person said, will look very legit. Like imagine
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
get someone from Fiverr to write your white paper for you, someone very intelligent, and they will do something really really great
You'll
for you.
write something that when you read it,
Yes,
you'll be like, wow.
yeah, so you see, and that's why regulation comes in, right? That's why we
Mm-hmm.
need a bit of regulation when it comes to cryptocurrencies, because you can't always sniff out the scam and you can't always sniff out what's a scam and what's not a scam easily. So you just have to be careful and maybe pray.
I said pray. Well, two things I want to say. First things first. Either I like it or not, as you said, some of these assets you make money in, some of them you don't make money in.
Mhm,
When you're going into cryptocurrency, see it as investment. When you're going
mhm.
into crypto, really, right now, just see it as investment because that's what most people do it for. Investment. Some investments you lose money, some investments you make money.
That's
That's
what I
why
said.
just follow the principle of investment for crypto, where they'll tell you don't keep all your eggs in one basket. If you have all your money, don't put it in the same thing. Because if you put it in the same
Hmm.
thing, it's easier for everything to just go. But when you spread it,
Yeah.
you can easily count your loss here, maybe even recover, your loss from another asset that increased in value. There's that. And then the issue of regulations. I don't want us to get into that. You mentioned it briefly right now. I don't want us to go into
Okay.
the issue of
Okay.
should we really have regulations on these things because
Yeah, I
that's
think
the whole
that's.
idea of the blockchain not being
Hmm.
regulated. I mean, maybe another
Yeah.
discussion for another day because it's a big
Okay.
deal. And then final
Okay.
question here before I ask my last question.
Okay.
Someone says, what's the difference between crypto and forex? I mean, just in a few words,
Well,
just answer that.
they are completely different. Forex is something entirely different from crypto. And yeah, another thing you
Mm-hmm.
should always be mindful of is if anybody is telling you, "Oh, come and learn forex and crypto," that's the truth. Anybody that is combining it for you is a scammer because they are completely different. Forex too, is a risky venture, But Forex has to do with, investing in real world companies, real world, establishments, and, trying
Institutions. Okay.
to, yeah, so they are completely different things. And I also just want to say one more thing concerning, the person who asked, when you do your own research and everything looks legit, how do you still know
Yeah.
that? Another thing you can also do is if you know how to use maybe Etherscan or Binance Scan very well, and you can check, you can go further and check more things about a particular token, right? If you check, okay, on if the coin was created on Ethereum, for example, you go to Etherscan, you can see, okay, who owns the majority of this coin? Where is it? So you go there, you check where is the if more than a normal amount of the currency is in one particular coin, which is not a Bona coin, because a Bona wallet, because they are Bona wallets that they use for burning, this cryptocurrency. If it's not, if it belongs to someone, and then you see that a lot of this coin is just with one person, you know that there's something off. There's something off. It shouldn't be that way. It should be spread.
Yeah.
Someone can have more, but when they say, okay, we minted 500 million tokens, and then one person, a single person,
That's
is
like
holding
300
200
million.
million, something is wrong. That's
Yeah.
wrong. So that's another way you can know. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I think is that all
Yeah.
the questions? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for that. Really, our time is fast spent. I
Okay.
know we still have a lot more questions. If you leave me alone, I will continue to ask questions. There's a lot to ask, right? But
Yeah.
let's just wrap it up here. We can always engage you later, get some insights from you, and then share with the community, from time to time. And then
Okay.
whenever you write about this stuff too, people can always check out your posts. You
Oh,
can,
sure.
guys, head out to TechpointAfrica and then, subscribe to their newsletter. So whenever they put out posts, you can get notifications and then, be able to read about different things within
Yeah,
tech
yeah,
happening
and let me just
every
say,
day.
if you want to, easily get more, to be notified, because I usually cover, stuff on crypto and blockchain, and if you want to be
Yeah.
notified easily, on, crypto and blockchain related things, you can just subscribe for. I have like a particular, like a newsletter of my own. It's called
Okay.
on also on TechPoint. It's Crypto Explorer. So once you subscribe, just go on the website. You can just search for Crypto Explorer. Once you see a story on Crypto Explorer, at the beginning of each story, there's a prompt that prompts you to subscribe. So just subscribe for Crypto Explorer, and you'll get a
Beautiful.
lot of my content concerning cryptocurrency.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That works. That works a lot. That works a whole lot. Thank you so much, Bolu, for being here. We really appreciate your time. This 1 hour 30 minutes has been very insightful. I mean, guys, listening in, and you participated from the beginning. I know you guys would want to say a lot right now, but I'd like to give opportunity to one person, just one person for just one feedback. Somebody to say, "Oh, thank you so much. This is what I learned. This is what I've been able to gain. This is what I'm hoping to be able to do moving forward." If there's anybody who wants to, say something, just raise your hand. I'll bump you up to panelists very quickly, and then we'll hear from you, and then we'll call it a day immediately after that. If there's anybody who would like to say something right now, please raise your hands. Raise your hands. You've got like 30 seconds. I'll bump you up to panelists, and then, we'll be able to take your feedback right away. And if we don't have anybody, beautiful. I know for sure that we've had an awesome time today. The chat section has been burning up since the beginning. It's been beautiful. It's been wonderful. And really, again, thank you, Bolu. Thank you so much. Thank you to TechPoint as well for sending you here. We really, really appreciate your time. We appreciate the
You're
insights
welcome.
that you've shared. We're hoping that, some other time when we call, you'll be able to join us, again, and, share more insights with us anytime we need you,
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely. No problem. No
Beautiful.
problem at all.
I think that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much again to everybody who has listened in. Thank you for joining. We hope you learned a thing or two. Please do well to follow Bolu. If you can share your social media handles with us, you can share
Okay.
with Kemi that's been reaching out to you, so we can send
Oh,
out in
okay.
an email to people. Also follow us now, follow me, and so that you can get a lot of notifications when we're putting out stuff. We'll also share what Bolu has shared here about getting notifications on crypto exchange from TechPoint. We'll share it in an email. We'll send out to people. Awesome. On Twitter, Bolu is at Bolu Abiodun 1 on Twitter, Bolu Abiodun 1 on Twitter. I'm at Osubu on Twitter, right? I host a lot of conversations around innovation, technology, especially within Africa. So please do well to engage, Feel free to send questions to, what's it called, to DMs. Whenever we see, we'll definitely respond, we'll interact. And then, I mean, it's everybody's learning. So everybody's always happy to also share as well. Again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Bolu. So nice to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would say, awesome. Everybody, please do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Try to relax, have fun. Monday, work starts. For those of us who don't have break, get back to work as soon as possible. So take care, everybody, and enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
All right.